Today's DIYs are nature-inspired Christmas DIYs. They have a little rustic feel to them. Many of the materials are from the Dollar Tree, and we're starting today with this little birdhouse. I'm going to take my Waverly chalk paint and plaster, and I'm going to paint the four sides of it. And we're going to do one coat, and we're going to use a flat brush that has a flat end of it, so we can just kind of get up there in those corners and crevices. And we're going to paint the entire piece around each side. We're also going to be painting the base too, this color. And then we're going to be putting other colors on top of it, one other color on top of it. As a matter of fact, we're going to be using this mineral here. And that's the name of this color, also a chalk paint. And we're going to go ahead, and that's what I'm listening to. I am still listening to that. I have not finished that book yet. If you saw my last video, you saw that I put that up there also. So what I'm doing is I'm trying to layer this, and I'm taking the mineral and I'm just layering it on top of the plaster, and I'm going to give it a good amount of coverage here. And after I do that, I'm going to take a dry paper towel and I'm kind of wiping it off. And I'm actually finding with the paper towel that I'm just kind of spreading it around. So I went back in with a baby wipe, and that took off some of the mineral, which is what I want. I want it to have kind of a textured look to it. And so that's what I'm doing here. And then I'm going to just go ahead and make sure I'm getting that little perch, also wiping it away a little bit there. And then I'm going to flip it over and show you the back. And I think you're going to see in the back, it's going to be just a little bit better view of what I'm doing. So I have these molds that I purchased from Amazon. I believe they come 5 in a pack, and I can link them below for you if you're interested. I do have an Amazon store, and I do have craft items in there. In case you would like to look, you can find that link in the description below. I'm using Iron Orchid Designs paper clay, and that's what I'm using. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put this on the front of this birdhouse. And that's the way we want it. We want it that way right there, like that. So I have a question for you, and my question today is, which of these DIYs would you make? And I'm wanting to know, out of all of these that I show you today, when you're done watching, let me know in the comments which one you would be the most likely to make. All right, we've got our two pieces on. I have glued those on with Titebond, and I'm now going to take my rosette mold. This is an Iron Orchids design mold here, and I'm just going to take this tiny rosette and we're going to place this right here on top using my Titebond. And then once I get these secured in place, I'm going to let this set overnight and let these cure and dry and get solid, and let the glue dry also. I'm just adding in a little bit more of the mineral here. That I feel like I needed to add just a little bit more of that back. It's great. You can take away and add as you like to give it the textured look you want. Okay, so here we are. It's dried, and we're going to go ahead and we're going to paint this. The clay pieces we're going to paint in the plaster color, and then we're also going to paint the roof in the plaster color too. I mentioned this in the beginning, but here I'm just painting the base of the birdhouse. I'm painting all the way around it. Now I'm going to take some Mod Podge, and we're going to put that on the top of the roof. So we're going to put a nice thick coat on. I'm using the matte Mod Podge, and we're just going to put it all over the top of the roof. And now I'm taking some of this craft glittered snow, also from the Dollar Tree, and I'm just going to spread that on top. And we're going to give the roof a nice little snowed upon look. I think that makes it real pretty. The glitter kind of gives it a little bit of a glammed up design for the Christmas season. And we're just going to pile that on there and let it dry overnight. And then we're going to add it on. I just decided to add a little bit of it on to the molds here, and just a tiny bit. Okay, so now it's the next day, and I'm going to take my tacky glue, because I thought this was kind of a small space here, so I really didn't want to use my hot glue, and then I'm just taking those tweezers, which is helping to guide me, and I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to put the reindeer moss, also from the Dollar Tree. We're just going to take that and we're just going to kind of maneuver it all the way around the opening of the birdhouse, give it a little bit of a, like it has a little wreath around it, is what I wanted it to look like. Little natural wreath. And so that's what I'm doing here. And I think this makes just the cutest little decor. You could use this for winter as well as Christmas. The second DIY we're doing today is I'm going to take this little palette piece, also from the Dollar Tree, and again I'm taking my plaster and I'm going to paint the entire front of this piece in the plaster color today. And this color is going to be pretty much a base for everything I'm doing here. Once we get that covered, I have a really pretty printable that I purchased. Well, actually I didn't purchase it, it was free from the Graphics Fairy. And this is really the whole inspiration for all of these DIYs. They kind of go around this one here. I love this bird. And it does say Merry Christmas on it, and it just has a real beautiful colors and beautiful look to it, and it's definitely a nature look, and I wanted to use that. Now the Graphics Fairy, I will link the website for you. I'm not sure if I can find this exact one. If I can find this exact one, I will definitely link it. If not, I will link the Graphics Fairy website. There are many free printables on there. And if you don't find this one or like this one, you will definitely be able to find one that you do like. There are lots and lots of them on there. So you might have saw that I was using my glue stick, and that's what I'm using to adhere this down to this palette. I'm going to take some burlap, and we're going to layer this here with a couple different ribbons. This is now this burlap may be from Hobby Lobby. And then I also have some lace ribbon here that is from the Dollar Tree. So if you're enjoying these videos and you're enjoying these DIYs, I would love it if you would subscribe to my channel. I do shopping, decorating, and DIY videos, and I would absolutely love to have you here. So think about subscribing if you like what you're seeing. And don't forget to hit the notification bell so that you don't miss a video. So I made this bow off camera, And I left a long enough tail on it so I could decide just how long I want the tails to be. And I always have a little trouble. Sometimes I will snip the wrong way, so I left it long on purpose so that I wouldn't do that and I wouldn't make that mistake. I don't know why I do that. I have a hard time remembering sometimes which way I'm supposed to slant it when I trim it. These tiny little pine cones are also from the Dollar Tree. They came in like a little bag. Sometimes you'll see them and they have glitter in them, and I think they're scented, but these ones were not glittered. They were just the plain ones. And we're just gonna tuck those in the middle there just to add a little embellishment with my hot glue gun. And then I still felt like it needed something, so I grabbed one of my trusty little rosettes, or little roses that I have. I think I got those from Michael's, and that will finish this little DIY off. All right, moving on to DIY number 3. I purchased these little wood blocks. I love how they have the little corners that are beveled. And of course I got them at the Dollar Tree. That's where I got them also. Again, we're gonna use our plaster paint here. And now if you see how I'm painting this, I'm not painting it, I'm not covering it completely. And I wanted to have that rustic look to it. And so I'm going to paint all 3 of these, and you're going to see I'm not covering them completely. I'm leaving some of that wood exposed because I like that look and I think that it gives it a rustic look. Now I'm just arranging my little blocks in the way that I want them. So I'm looking at how I've painted it and I'm just putting it in the order that I want it to be in. And then I'm going to take my glue gun and we're just going to glue all 3 of these together and we're going to stack them. And after I get them all stacked and put together and they're dry enough that I can maneuver them, I'm going to take a Sharpie. Now I'm taking one of those fine point Sharpies because it gives me a little bit better control. And we're going to just make a little face here. Obviously, at this point, you probably know that I'm making a little snowman. All right, I have seen a couple other YouTubers make these, a few of them actually, and you use like a toilet paper roll to make these. And I made these last year. I actually made like a little garland, and I don't know if I filmed that or not, but anyways, I was looking for a hat to put on them and I found these and I'm like, oh, I think that this would work perfect for this little snowman. And I did think they were a little top heavy, so I'm just gonna go ahead and give that top little pom-pom piece there a bit of a trim. And then I'm going to glue it onto the top just to secure it so that it stays put. And then that's how that's looking so far. So then I wanted to give them a little scarf. We're going to just hot glue the back This is that rope. It's the roping from the Dollar Tree, and I just unraveled one piece of it. Just used a portion of it to make his little scarf here. And then I also had these are like little wood pieces, so I'm making a base for him. And then I just had this tiny little greenery piece, and I just stuck that in his hat, and there you have it. Okay, DIY number 4. I was really excited to find these little lanterns that have the little LED battery lights in them. I thought it was so cute. And I thought it was new, but it might not be. They might have had them last year. And again, going in with my plaster, I'm painting the top and I'm painting the sides. And I accidentally painted that, like you see the wood pieces there that are in between. I accidentally painted those and I didn't want to, so I just took a baby wipe and went back through. And as you can see there, I just wiped that off because I do want to have the wooden showing on the wood, I should say, showing on the trim. So once I finished that, I have some brown ribbon. Now I'm looking at the label, and I believe this also came from the Dollar Tree. I don't remember that I got it there, but looking at it, it looks like the others. So I'm measuring there to see how big I want to make my ribbon, and I'm just kind of stacking my loops on top of each other there. And then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to just use what I have on hand. And what I have on hand is a little jute. And so I'm going to take the jute and I'm going to tie it so that my little ribbon stays in place. And I don't really like the way this looks. So you'll see I'm going to doctor it up a little bit. But I'm going to just tie that together, trim off the end piece. So I just trimmed off a very small piece of the ribbon, and I'm just going to glue that over the center there, and that will cover up that piece of jute. And now I have this little pine cone. Now this pine cone I think came from Walmart, and I actually was searching through my stash frantically because I really feel like this needs 2, but I could not find another one, so we're just going to have to go with it because I'm using what I have on hand. I'm just going to hot glue that on, and then I took the rest of the ribbon, or at least another piece of the ribbon, and I'm just doing those little dovetails. And then I'm going to fold it over on itself, just kind of a little bit to the side there, and then I'm just going to glue that on. And then that will give my bow a tail. And this one's really simple, and you have a sweet little lantern. Okay, DIY number 5. This is a cone, also from the Dollar Tree. Now I have some things in mind for this that I haven't really said what I'm going to do with them, but that's going to be in an upcoming video. So I took this and I measured it and I cut it down to the size that I needed it to be. I'm going to glue it to this wooden base here. And then I started with Mod Podge, and I went ahead and I put the Mod Podge on the styrofoam piece here, and then I took my reindeer moss and I started to glue it on, and it really wasn't holding very well. So I thought, okay, well, I just need a lot more Mod Podge. So here I am putting on a lot more Mod Podge and sticking this on here, and it just wasn't working. So I ended up grabbing my tacky glue, and I ended up really layering on the tacky glue, and then taking very small pieces of the reindeer moss and gluing them on and just sticking them all over. And I'm really trying to make sure I don't have any spaces in between, but you'll see I didn't do quite a wonderful job with that. But this was a little tedious, and it took a lot of my tacky glue, but I was really looking for this reindeer moss effect to have a Christmas tree. And so I'm getting all of that on there. And like I said, I'm going to be using these for a video that's coming up in a couple of weeks. So make sure you subscribe to my channel if you are interested in seeing what that is and you don't want to miss it. And don't forget to hit the notification bell also, so that you don't miss a video. We've come to our last DIY. We're going to be drying some orange slices, and we're going to put our oven to 200. Now this one is not that hard to do, but it is time consuming. I have 2 oranges here. I'm going to say right off the bat, one is a firm orange and one is very squishy, which is going to make quite a difference in what I'm doing. Now I'm not trying to make a whole bunch of these, I just need a few of these. If you want to make a whole bunch of these, you're going to need a whole bunch of oranges to make sure that you get your slices just the way you want them. I'm starting off with this larger, sharper knife, but it's not working really well because this particular orange is the smushy one, and it isn't working that well, and it's kind of coming apart. So you see that the holes are there, and you really don't want that. You want to make sure you have a firm orange. And so this is my second orange, and this orange is much firmer. I also went to my go-to knife that I always use, and it worked a lot better. And I'm slicing these, I'm trying to slice them to about 1/8 of an inch. Now obviously if you have something like a mandolin, you might be able to do that a little bit more evenly where they're all exactly the same size, because you want them as close to the same size as possible. And the thicker that you cut them, the longer it will take for them to bake in the oven. I'm not really a fan of mandolins, so I'm just gonna struggle through and do it all by hand myself today. When that's done, we're gonna take a towel and lay it down on a counter. We're gonna put some paper towels underneath it, just for an extra layer. Spread all of those out there. And then we're going to go ahead and take our orange slices and line them up on these towels. And then we're going to take another towel and we're going to squeeze as much of the liquid out of these as we can, because we want to squeeze as much liquid out as we can before we put them into the oven to dry. Next, we're going to take a cookie sheet. We're going to add some parchment paper to it. Then we're going to go ahead and lay out our orange slices. We want to make sure that they're evenly spaced and that they're not overlapping on each other. We're going to put them in the oven for 3 hours. We're going to set it for 1 hour and 30 minutes because we are going to flip them halfway through. And that's what I'm doing here. And they go back in for another 1.5 hours now. Okay, I have pulled these out, and I do believe we still have a little moisture in here. And I read a couple different articles, and they basically said that you don't want any moisture in it because then you are in danger of having mold, and you don't want that. Obviously, I'm not sure I'll be using these. The other thing I would say is that you want to make sure that you have enough oranges to make enough that look like this or like this. This one I think is the perfect one here. This one's pretty good too. But you also want to make sure you have a firm orange. One of my oranges was squishy, and that's why I've ended up with some of this here. I'm going to put these back in for 10 minutes each on each side. Okay, I put them each in for, well, I put one side in for 30 minutes longer, and then the other side I just put in for like another 15 minutes. So I think that we are done here. So basically these went almost 4 hours, and I'm happy with them. I only need a few of these. I don't need a lot. Obviously, if you needed a wreath or a garland, you would need to buy a lot of oranges to make this work. But I do like them. I'm very happy with them. And here's how all of my projects look. I have some pictures for you here. Don't forget my question. My question that I wanted you to answer was, which of these DIYs would you make? Would you be most likely to make? Let me know in the comments. I would really love to know. If you've enjoyed this video, please consider sharing it with someone else who you think would enjoy it. Subscribe if you would like to see more from me. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video.